Hey everyone, and welcome back to Let's Makeup. I am finally getting around to doing a makeup tutorial for you, and I decided to do a graduation look because I've been asked a lot recently to do either a graduation look or like a prom makeup tutorial, and I do think the two are quite different. I think a prom look is a little bit more party, and I will do one of those again soon, and then graduation is a little bit more pared back because you're more kind of thinking of those photographs that are going to be sitting on your parents' mantelpieces for, you know, the next 20-30 years. So that's what I had in mind when I did do this look, but I wanted it still to be a little bit summery with the time of year that the graduations happen. So, you know, the skin is a little bit more bronzed than usual, and of course I have this lovely bright pink lip. I'm using nearly all Smashbox products, by the way. This is not a sponsored video though, but a lot of the products were gifted to me when I went over with the brand a couple of weeks ago. But truth be told, I've just been dying to use them all, so that's why I decided to use them all in this video. Oh yeah, one thing before we get into the tutorial is a lovely subscriber of mine will win a €20 bet or $20 bet, she's not in Ireland, if I just say a few words for her, and her boyfriend's gonna have to pay up then. So from one supernatural fan to another, Sam and Dean Winchester. So I don't know if you wanted to hear that because it sounds really funny, excuse my phone, because it sounds really funny coming from my accent or not, but there you go. I hope that gets you your 20 quid and you get to spend it on something nice. So I'm going to start off with the wee sample I have of the Smashbox PhotoFinish Foundation Primer. This is their, of course, their iconic primer, and I have tried this like once before and it seemed to work quite nice. So I'm going to focus this just in the center of my face. I'll pop it mainly around my nose because that's where I would get greasy throughout the day. And I do like to put these silicone primers up underneath my eyes as well. Then for my foundation, this is still in the box. I actually bought this like a year ago and I haven't even opened it. So hopefully it's still grand, I'm sure it is. These tend to last a bit longer than a year. Yeah, you've got 2 years with these. So this is the Smashbox Studio Skin 15-Hour Wear Hydrating Foundation. This is perfect for me because it's long lasting, but it still hydrates. So some long lasting foundations do tend to be quite drying, and this one, from what I can remember, because it's so long since I've worn it, isn't. So I'll pop a little bit, actually better give this a good shake because it has been sitting in my drawer forever. And pop that onto the back of my hand. Yeah, the shaken colour is a little bit lighter than the first one. And I want to use my Real Techniques, what's this called? It's the 300 brush. I showed this in my 5 repurposed products video there on Wednesday because, no, on Friday. God, I'm getting confused, on Friday, yeah, because I love this for foundation. I forgot to say, I am the colour 1.1 in the Studio Skin foundation. Not all the foundations, I think, with Smashbox do colours that run quite light enough for me, but this one seems to be okay. I mean, I'd say it's about a half shade too dark, but I can definitely get away with it. I just bring it down onto the neck a little bit. I just think it gives a really lovely natural matte finish, and I do like the coverage because it's like a medium coverage, but I still see my freckles and stuff through it. Now, for my eyes, because I'll leave my skin till afterwards, I'm going to use the Smashbox PhotoFinish Lid Primer. I got a sample size of this when I was over with the brand in London there a couple of weeks ago, and then I don't have a concealer by the brand, so I'm just going to use some of my MAC ProLongWear concealer in NC15 underneath my eyes. And I'm also going to put a little bit of the ProLongWear there on my brow bone to help conceal any redness, and it'll lighten it up a little bit as well. I'm going to move on to my Smashbox Full Exposure palette. I've had this for quite a while now as well, and I do quite like it. I'm going to be using, I'm going to pop this guy anyhow, the middle highlight colour, onto my inner corner. This is a really, really nice highlight because it is quite light reflective, but it's not quite as gaudy as maybe something like Nylon from MAC, which I think can be almost a bit too whitish. And then for my brow bone, I'm going to go over with this matte colour, so I'm not shining like a total disco ball. Then for my main lid colour, I think I'll press some of, I'll go with that kind of greeny silvery colour. I'll pick that up with, this is a Zoeva, the classic shader brush, 232 from the Bamboo collection. I'll just press that over my lid. It's kind of like a minty silver colour, which is quite nice. Then moving on to a blending brush. This is the Zoeva 227. I'm going to go in with this taupe colour. I actually set it right there for a change, first go. So tap off the excess and work this over the crease. And I'm going to apply a little bit of that underneath the lower lash line as well. And then I will go into the slightly darker colour beside it and work that into the outer corner. I'm going to avoid using the black as eyeshadow because, you know, it isn't exactly bridal look we're doing, but we are very concerned about photographs because, you know, these are going to be photographs that are going to be sitting on your parents' mantelpiece for years to come. So that's why I don't want it to be too dark or too harsh. And then for underneath my eye, I'm going to go into that same second dark colour and press a little bit of it just underneath the lower lash line using an angled brush. This is the Zoeva 317. And then as eyeliner, to keep things simple, and because I don't have a Smashbox eyeliner, I'm going to use the black eyeshadow. And if you want, you could damp your brush first. I'm just going to put it on dry first and we'll see how it looks. Yeah, it comes out quite strong actually, as is. And this is good for anyone who isn't maybe the best at using liquid eyeliner. You can still get a similar effect using a good black eyeshadow. I did get a little pencil, a kohl pencil, when I was in London as well. So I'm going to use that. Sorry, I'm looking for a mirror. I'll just use this guy. I'm going to use that to tightline my upper waterline. It is definitely a good idea to tightline when photographs are involved, especially if any are being taken from down below, because you will see, if you're going to be that pedantic about it, most people aren't as pedantic about stuff like this as I am, but you will most of the time see that little bit of skin underneath your top lashes if you don't tightline. And I'm not going to do anything onto the bottom lash line, but a little bit might transfer anyhow, and that's fine. Now for mascara, I have the Smashbox Full Exposure Mascara sample size. It's my second time having it because I actually got one with this when I first got that, and that was like the Christmas before last. I didn't like it the first time I got it, but I actually like it this time, which is funny. So I'm not sure if one of them was maybe a dud, and I'm not really sure if, or if one, I don't know actually. So I'm quite enjoying it this time around though, funnily enough. This one just doesn't seem to be as watery like the first one I got, the one that came with the palette. It was just one of those extremely fluid formula mascaras, which I find do nothing for my lashes, and this one has a little bit more of a slightly thicker consistency to it. Then next I'm going to use the Step by Step contour stick, and this is in the contour colour. They also have a highlight, which isn't light enough for me, and a bronzer, which is a bit too bronzy, unless you're a little bit deeper in skin tone. But I can definitely work with the contour stick, and I'm going to be using this around my nose, and I seem to be doing it a bit wonky. But the good thing about these being so creamy is that you can definitely clean away any mistakes you make, or kind of wipe it away. I'm going to do the X's method. So I did actually a full video on this. This is how Smashbox actually contour, and just means you've less product to blend out basically, so it's easier to do, especially if you're not used to contouring. But I did do a full video on it, so you can check that out if you're interested. I'm going to use my concealer brush, which is the Sedona Lace EB13, to blend out my nose contour. And then I'm going to use my foundation brush for the bigger contour. Sorry if you can hear music downstairs. Jamie's watching some film on Netflix, I'm not sure what it is. So I'm just going to blend it out initially, then I'm going to kind of clean off my brush and go over the blend again. These don't really set too strong, so you have plenty of time to blend them out. Make sure you blend any of that product well up into the hairline so that there's no obvious gaps between the colour in your hair. Now just wipe off my brush and then go back in with blending out that contour. so that it's not too strong. And then whatever's left on the brush, I'm going to pull down there underneath the outside of my jaw, onto my double chin. Then I'm going to set everything in place with my NARS translucent crystal setting powder. I've done a video on this as well, so feel free to check that out. I love this. Time to go into my little bag of tricks here and pull out my brows, I think. Yeah, I'm going to do my brows now, and this I have been loving. It is the Brow Tech To Go crayon. This is the Brunette one. I really like the top one as well, but because I only really want to fill in gaps, I'm going to use the Brunette one because it's a little bit closer in colour to my brows. Start off by just brushing my brows up with the spoolie. And I've let my brows grow in a good bit over the last couple of weeks, so I just want to see where, you know, it's gappy and then fill that in. So really it's like underneath the arch. Little strokes, fill in anywhere that you see needs filling in, and I like to work in tandem with my spoolie so that it breaks up the product a little bit so it's not too strong. But I can allow it to be a little bit stronger here on the outer corner or on the tail part. And it is a relatively natural but groomed brow that I am aiming for. And then once the brows are filled in, I can flip around to the back end of this and use the clear gel to keep them in place, which is particularly handy for anyone who has a fuller brow and hairs that tend to go any which direction. I woke up on this eyebrow, all the hairs like on the kind of middle part were sticking straight out, which can happen quite a lot. It's obviously from sleeping on my face. So it took a little bit of coaxing to get them back into place, but they finally went back to where they were supposed to be. Back into my bag of tricks, and I'm going to pull out, what haven't I used yet? I have this blusher, which I'll use in a second, and I don't know what I'd bother using this. It is the bronzer. I'm probably bronzed enough for my own liking, like the contour kind of gave me enough colour. But I might actually pop a tiny bit of this on my neck because I think it does look a little bit lighter than my face because of the contouring. Ooh, that's a little bit dark, but anyhow, it'll do. Yeah, this is actually a little bit darker than I thought, so I might need to bronze my face a tiny bit now too. Okay, that'll do for the bronzer. Now this guy is called Baked Star Blush, and it's one of the Fusion Soft Lights. I haven't used this yet, so I assume it's going to be quite highlighty because it looks a little bit highlighty. I'm just going to use this brush again. Yeah, I'll swirl this around, see what happens. I might just get a tissue though, just in case it comes out a bit strong. Oh no, it doesn't seem to come out too strong actually. Yeah, it's more like a highlighter, isn't it? Fusion Soft Lights. And what's all I've got to do? Just my lips, isn't it? I think that's all that's left to do. So I do have these lovely cheek sticks actually. These are like lip and cheek sticks. Yeah, blendable lip and cheek sticks. I'll use them again some other time. But I showed, what's it called? I showed this gorgeous orange colour already in, I wore it in another video. I think it was in like the favourites from last month, and in Shiv's stash the end of last month. It's the one that has my name on it, and it's just this beautiful, beautiful, like intense orange lipstick. I'm not going to go for anything that strong today. I'm going to be using the other matte lipstick that I got, which is Paris Pink. And this is just a really nice, like it's a nice poppy pink kind of, but it's just not as crazily intense as the orange. So I'm actually just going to pop this straight on, and then I'll use a brush to get the shape right. So that's the finished look, guys, and I really think that it's this gorgeous pastel pink that really brings it into like a summery look. There will be a full list of products below as usual and eventually on the blog. This wasn't a sponsored video, sadly, even though a lot of the products were gifted to me, but I did buy some of them myself. I hope you all have a really lovely graduation day and that hopefully this might have lent a little bit of inspiration to you if you are wondering about what to wear on the day. And that's pretty much it, so I'll just see you all in my next video, and I'm about to go and eat my weight in popcorn. So long, guys.